Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Unshakeable People Podcast, where we shape minds and build leaders. My name is Katie Kaspari. I'm your host, and I'm extremely thrilled that you found time to join me today. If you're regular on my podcast and you have seen other episodes, you might have noticed that we're not in my usual studio, and there is a reason for this. Today's topic is what I'm going through right this minute, and it is the uncertainty and when things go not to plan, when everything crumbles, everything you've planned just goes to hell, and you have to deal with the here and now, and you have to act. Just using the tools and the circumstances that you currently find yourself in. And I decided to make this episode different, and it is going to be different in many, many ways. And I hope you enjoy it, because I think so many people today can relate to this. Our life is so unpredictable. Our life is so unpredictable. So I decided to make this episode different, and it is going to be different in many, many ways. Well, first of all, the quality of my recording today is going to be far from the quality that I usually deliver. But again, I will explain myself in the episode why this happens. I literally do not have any of my gear. I don't have access to any of my gear. I'm literally just using my MacBook and my AirPods to film this, and we will definitely see how it goes. But in any case, I want you to have this episode this week, and I don't want my circumstances to drive me from being present and being able to do what I love, and this is to post my videos and continue with my podcast. So today's topic, how I see it and what I have planned for today, is going to be about the universe as it is in many sense, that how we understand it, and the ways how we can make ourselves trust this universe, whatever meaning you put in it, and live easier and happier, and just put up with what life throws at us, and just put up with whatever life throws at us. So today I've picked up and drafted 15 points that I have noticed myself doing during this collapse that I'm experiencing right now, and when I found myself in this awkward and very, very unplanned situation. So first, I would like to start with explaining myself, why we're here in a place where there is nothing pretty much, and why this episode is different to others. So here's the thing. I went on vacation, and I went on a vacation with my kids. And it so happened that my younger daughter, she injured herself very unpleasantly. She's all right. She's fine. And we're getting there. We are in the process of recovery, so everything is going to be all right. But the doctors advised us that we shouldn't be flying anywhere, and we should not be transporting the kid anywhere for at least a month after the injuries. So I'm kind of stuck now in a different country, abroad, away from everything. And as you might imagine, this has impacted many of my life plans and day-to-day tasks and day-to-day activities that I usually do. And I had to take action on it, including this episode and podcast, and including my work with one-on-one clients and running my coaching practice and having meetings and all that. So I had to make alterations with regards to everything. So I found myself in a very, well, first of all, scary situation. But as soon as this first kind of fright wore off, I just composed myself and decided, okay, I need to do something about it. And I just sat down there and wrote down 15 main points that helped me do this. Now, I know that many people today have to deal with situations of uncertainty and situations when it just feels so overwhelming, because when something happens and something bad happens, especially when something bad happens and it goes not according to plan, it is quite difficult for us to deal with these situations. It is a lot of stress and it puts us in uncontrollable kind of environment. Now, the 15 points that I'm going to talk about in this episode are your practical steps and your practical guidance, if you like, to make it easier for you to just deal with any situation, whatever it is, and to keep going. Just not get stuck in it, but to deal with it, sort it out, solve all the problems as they come, and let them go as they go. Okay? So the first point that I wanted to make is this: uncertainty is just a part of our life. We need to make sure that the way we think about uncertainty is something normal. It is something that we can come across at any point in our lives. It is something that we all have to deal with, and this is just a part of the puzzle. It is just a part of the game. And if you treat uncertainty in such a way, it is much easier for you to let go of control. And here is my question for you. What do you think? What if letting go of control could give you more freedom than if you had the full control over the situation? What if I tell you that this is exactly the case? See, according to Stephen R. Covey, for example, and what he writes about in his 7 Habits book, we do have the circle of control and we do have the circle of influence. Human beings, especially today, especially in the reality of today's modern world, human beings are so focused on being in control of everything. They want to control their lives. They want to control their diet. They want to control their children, their parents, their friends, their colleagues, their career. And when you just combine all of these together, you will find that there is so much that you have to control, so many things. And if you write out, like on the daily basis, the things that you want to control, you would actually notice that, oh my God, can I really do that? It is the list. It's extensive, and it goes on and on and on and on. And chances are that even if you write down everything, you would still miss on some points, and some points you would remember later on and you have to add to that list. So my message to you really is let go and just let life surprise you, I guess. And it's actually a scientific fact that higher tolerance to uncertainty in human beings, in people of all ages, of all races, in all walks of life, it doesn't matter. But if someone has a high tolerance to, they are more likely to report greater life satisfaction and overall well-being. They don't treat as something extraordinary. They don't see lack of control as something that can stop them from doing something or from being someone or that thing. And they just feel happier overall. Wouldn't we all just take this message on board and try to practice it in our everyday, day-to-day lives? Don't try to control dead times. You just need to rely on the universe, on the fate, on some extraordinary forces whatever you call this for yourself, whatever is your definition of the universe. But sometimes you just have to rely on chance and just say to yourself, well, this is just the way it goes, and I'm pretty happy to continue with this and just go with the flow, just see how it goes. Okay? Now the second point that I wanted to make today is gratitude. This is something that I think so many people lack, and me included. I always used to be so focused on what I want to achieve, on what I don't yet have, on where I want to be and where I am not at this minute, that I used to completely overlook the importance of what I already have and the importance of things that already happened in my life. The good things and the bad things, by the way, because as we know, bad things are just our experiences. Our past, it contains both. And there is no way around it. There is no person, dead or alive, that never had a negative circumstance during their lifetime. It's just not possible. So why don't we just say thank you for everything that we already have? How can a simple thank you transform your reality? Just think about this for a second and let that sink in. Your reality is here and now, and your reality is what you feel in this moment, in this moment in time. And if you approach your moment in time, which is now, from the point of view of how bad things are, or from the point of view of just trying to understand what's wrong with me, what's wrong with other people, what's wrong with the circumstances, you would always feel that negativity. You would always inevitably find something that you could just say, oh, this is so bad. This is so bad, and this is unattainable, for example, or these circumstances, I just can't do anything about them. And sometimes this is really the case. And one of the best ways to battle this, in my personal opinion, and in what I have learned, even from this situation that I'm currently in, is that if you say thank you to the universe for breathing, for being alive, for having what you have, for having a family, for having friends, for having a job, for having the clothes that you currently wear, for having food on your table, or for anything else that you can think of, this positivity inevitably just overrides all of the negativity that you currently have. And again, chances are you would have both. If you want to find something bad in your here and now situation, in your present moment, chances are you definitely would. But the question is, why would you want to focus on that negativity if you have so many positivity that you can focus on? Just a thought. It helped me enormously in this situation and to deal with this situation in the best possible manner, because there was so much that went wrong. And again, every parent would understand that something wrong happens with your kid, especially when it's something that is very difficult to deal with. You just feel so stressed. You feel so lost in this entire situation. And the temptation to focus on the bad is so strong. I get that. I understand that. But the truth is that you wouldn't help the situation by focusing on the bad stuff, because any problem requires a solution, and any problem is temporary. It is something that you would inevitably deal with one way or another. But if you keep focusing on the bad without feeling the gratitude and feeling the strength inside you to say, thank you for the good, you wouldn't get yourself far. You would get stuck in the bad and you wouldn't notice the good around you. And that's dangerous. So let's not do that. Okay? So gratitude was our second point. And just think about it. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. When we feel grateful for something, when we say thank you, we feel that we have enough. And enough is something that acts as a huge signal to our brain that we are okay, that we are safe, and we are sound, and we are happy. And our brain just creates that happy situation for us, the happy feeling. You are enough. Your circumstances are enough. But the most important thing is that in that moment, you get energy. You get energy to do something about the bad and to deal with the bad in the most efficient way. That's what you get. Okay? The next point that I want to cover in this episode and something that helped me enormously. I cannot even say enough about how much it has done for me in this particular situation that I found myself in, and it's meditation. I know that for some people it sounds strange, like how can you and sit down and make room in your brain, in your mind, and in your time for meditation. Just sit down, close the doors, close your eyes, just switch off. How is this possible when you are in the middle of a crisis, when you are in the middle of a hurricane, for example? And I used to be like this as well before I literally dragged myself into meditating, because I've been hearing about this from everywhere, all over the social media, all over the internet. It has become extremely popularized in the past, I would say maybe 10, 15 years. And I decided to try for myself. And since then, ever since, because it wasn't easy to start. It was very hard, especially for me, being a skeptic, being a very practical person who doesn't like to waste time on things that, superficial and do not work. This totally works. When you meditate, you give yourself a chance to speak to yourself. You give yourself room to think. You give yourself in your room to rest and to be honest with yourself, to be distant from all the bad things that might be happening to you or with you in your here and now. It gives you a chance to breathe fully and to think with an open mind. Meditation is extremely important, and in my personal opinion, it is the key to that universal trust. And because it is as simple as just closing your eyes. If you're one of those people who does not know how to meditate, or who just every time when you try to focus, you just go mind wandering and it just doesn't work. Because when you just go mind wandering and it just doesn't work, well, it's all right. It's okay. Just keep trying, because meditation in reality, it really is such a powerful thing, such a powerful practice that I totally recommend it for everyone. Because regardless of your situation, when you make meditation your habit and you incorporate it into your daily life, your life, in whatever is happening now, whatever will be happening in future, it just becomes so much more manageable. And it's the key. absolute key. Because you know how they say, in stillness, the universe speaks. And I completely stand by this phrase. I think that the only way for us to really hear ourselves and the universe is inside of us, just as much as it is outside. The only chance for us to hear that inner voice is to keep still and to keep quiet. And when you do, you cope and you get the energy and you get all the answers that you need, because you stop panicking, because you stop running around, because you just get yourself off that hamster wheel, because you just switch your brain on, and you start really thinking about what's going on, and your brain starts working because I'm the solution, not towards the panic or the chaos, but towards the solution to make everything good, to put everything in order. So it's very important. The next point I want to make is the intuition. You know, when this happened to my daughter, and how she injured herself was she fell on an ice rink and she hit her head and her elbow and her arm really bad. I didn't think. I just saw her falling, and my elder daughter was there as well. And thank you so much for all the people who helped us as well on the way. There were men who just came to her straight away, who were closer, and they started helping. But I myself, I couldn't think, because I'm a mom. And when I was preparing for this episode today and when I was drafting these points, I just realized that I was acting out of my intuition. It was not my brain that was making decisions. And you know what? My decisions were spot on. Doctors later confirmed that all of these steps that we have taken, because I'm first 5, 10, 15 minutes, were so crucial to her being okay. Because I'm now, all of these steps and procedures, because I'm done, it was just something that could potentially save her life. And I thought a lot about this. And I think intuition is one of the things that connects you to the universe directly, even though scientists cannot really explain that. And I've come across a lot of scientific research on the topic of intuition. I haven't seen any real kind of definitive explanation of what intuition is. And according to this experience of mine, I can now say that my understanding is that intuition is the gut feeling that is in some way like a universe is whispering something on your ear. You can't explain it. You can't put this experience on paper even. If you are asked later on to describe why you've made this decision or why you did what you did, chances are that you wouldn't be able to do that, because you would just say, I don't know. It was just my gut feeling, like, oh, guts cannot really feel in this way and in this sense. They are for different purposes. This is an organ that does a different thing. But anyways, I think that if you trust those whispers, if you teach yourself to trust those whispers, you would better understand your soul. Because when you listen to the way the universe speaks to you in these messages, you are listening to yourself. Let's be honest. So intuition is extremely important. And I remember one of the scientific research that I came across, and I think it was from University of Leeds in the UK, that was suggesting that intuition It is like a real psychological phenomenon where our brain, it draws on past experiences and cues that we already have in something that we might not even remember, something that we have come across at some point in our lives. And it uses all those little bits and pieces to make decisions. And I think it is so crucial for us to make sure that we listen to this and we take it on board. Because we all know our brain is extremely developed. And there are some of its functions that we still do not understand. And a lot of its potential is just closed to us. It's inaccessible to us at this particular point in time. I hope that with scientific progress, this would change and people, human beings, would be able to use their brain potential, their cognitive abilities to its fullest. But at the minute, we are not using our brain to not only to its fullest potential. Let's be honest, it's 3-5% of our brain that we normally use, like in general. And I think intuition is something that is given to us from those inaccessible parts of our brain that we can sometimes tap into, and we definitely need to use that. So intuition is something that really helped me, and this is something that I extremely recommend on you taking on board in your day-to-day life as well. Okay, let's move on. Our next point is visualization. It's something that I talk about in many of my episodes and something that I teach my one-on-one clients regularly, and something that I really think that most people would be able to benefit from. Now, when you visualize your goal, you involve imagining your future scenarios in detail. So when you are facing a problem and you need to find a solution, what you need to do is you need to visualize where you need to get to. And this process of imagining your future scenarios, it can align your energy with the universe. Again, whatever meaning you put into this word, but you put yourself in alignment with your circumstances. And this manifests those dreams, if you like, or visualizations, as we say, into reality. So you quite literally, you drag that goal, which let's say it's a dream, you drag that goal towards yourself and bring it closer. And you get the energy from the universe. If you do not quite understand how energy works, make sure to check my other episode on energy that I've made a couple of weeks ago. I explain in detail how you can and where you can get the energy to get yourself to where you want to be. So you literally get the energy for this purpose, for the purpose of getting to your dream and to your desired goal. Many people can imagining your future and the future scenario of your life actually make it come true. I think yes and no, but it's more a yes than a no. It is a no only to the extent of how much effort you are ready and willing to put into it. If you do the work and if you keep focused on that goal, if you keep visualizing it day by day, and if you keep asking yourself the right questions, like, because I'm there, I'm already in my destination. How did I get there? What did I do because I'm there? Say you are imagining yourself in 1 year time, or like in my particular example of this particular situation, I was imagining my daughter to be well and to recover and to cope with all these situations. I just closed my eyes and visualized for a second when I had a minute for that. And I asked myself, what did I do to help my daughter get there? And I just saw these steps because I'm like at glance, like in clear day. And I just made myself do these steps and follow these steps. And it worked. I can say with my open heart, it worked. So visualize things and see it in your mind. Hold it in your hands and it will happen. If you give it name and shape, it will happen. There is no way it wouldn't, because your brain will help you and it will help you solve this problem. So make sure that you see your goal very, very clearly and that you ask correct questions all the time. Okay, done with this. And one other very important note that I want to make is you must let go of the outcome. If you want something to happen, you need to focus on that outcome, but focusing too much on this outcome can create anxiety, which would not be your friend. It would be your enemy. It would make you panic and it will make you deal with the situation not in the most efficient manner, but rather trusting the universe that this outcome would inevitably happen and just letting it do its thing and combining your efforts with your trust to the university. It means detaching from specific results and just being open to all possibilities, because sometimes things again do not happen like we planned, but it doesn't mean it's always in a bad way. And you need to focus on the main outcome, but you need to make sure that you are open to possibilities with regards to the steps and with regards to the path that can get you there. For example, if you want to be rich, that's a very good example. People love it. It's not necessarily that you would get rich through one particular route. For example, you might have always thought, like myself, that I would make a corporate career and this would get me far in life. But then something happens and you find yourself in a situation, well, that's not the case. I can no longer work in the corporate, or I don't want to work in the corporate any longer. I want to switch jobs or careers. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have my own business, or I don't want to work at all, or I want to do something else. Life is unpredictable, and this is something that we've spoken about in the beginning of the episode. Embrace the uncertainty and just allow yourself to get to your destination and keep your focus on the destination and make all the efforts to get to that destination, but allow the universe tell you the right path and the right steps that are good for you, because we're all different. What is good for one person might be extremely bad for another. Just keep that flexibility in yourself and keep that in mind when judging whether something is good or bad, when something is wrong or right. And you would see how the universe is helping you. And again, listen to your intuition. Now we are combining all of these steps together, all of the things and the points that we've discussed in this episode. And it's coming to a kind of rounded shape that if we do all these, we will eventually get to our destination, but not necessarily in the way how we planned and how we thought. Okay? And here is another point that is also very important, and bearing in mind all of the points that we've spoken about so far, something that modern people are not too good at, and something that many of us lack, me included, and it's patience. We want to get instant gratification from everything that we do. We are so used to have everything at the click of our fingers that we just don't want to wait for some things to come. And when something doesn't happen in the timeline that we set for ourselves, then we just give up. And we say to ourselves, well, I failed, or it didn't work for me, or whatever other reason was that I'm not having it. Well, that's wrong. When you're patient, you give the universe the sign that this is something that you truly and really desire. And again, if you haven't watched or listened to the episode, I have the episode on desires. Make sure to check that one, because we're talking very in-depth about how to desire correctly and how desires give you energy. Now, when you desire something, you need to be patient. When you desire something, you need to be patient. You need to be patient about your goal, and you need to tell the universe, okay, I'm happy to wait. I am happy to wait as long as it's needed, because I trust you have the correct scenario for me, and you would inevitably get me to where I need to be. And it's important. See, I think patience is the art of trusting the timing of your life. And we all have different timing. Patience is when we make time our friend, not our enemy. When we say that time is something that I have, but I'm also willing to let go of control and let it happen just the way it happens. Let things and life happen just the way it happens. Because I think that this is one of the fundamental and crucial things that we should be teaching ourselves and our kids. Life doesn't have to happen on the timeline in comparison to somebody else. Life just has to happen to you in the timeline that is right for you. So if you have patience, it means that you have pace, and you allow for this pace to happen to you in this life. If I didn't have patience in this situation, I could have easily got myself into anxiety, into a heart attack, into whatever else. But I composed myself and I said myself, okay, now I need to wait for the results of 72 hours that were crucial for my kid when we first got into hospital. If I didn't have the patience to wait for those 72 hours, I don't want to think of what would happen to me and how much I could harm both myself and the doctors and all of the other people involved, and obviously my kid as well. So patience is one of the most important skills that you can cultivate in yourself and just make it a habit. If something doesn't happen right here and now, but you still understand that this is not something that you want to let go, and this is not something that you want to give up on, just have the patience to stay and stick with your desires and give this signal to your brain, I still want that, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to sit around and wait, okay? Because I'm dead. And the last but not the least, the point that I want to make in this episode before we go is accepting the setbacks as just the redirection, but not as a failure. If you come across the situation in life when it just happens, when things go wrong, it is so easy to get drawn into the idea that you failed. It is so easy to just give up on things, just put everything inside and just say, okay, fine, I'm a failure. I'm just going to stay there like this. And you know what? This is a universal excuse. This is a universal excuse not to accept what is really happening to you, not to take the responsibility, but instead just to give up. Setbacks are universal signs that we're going in the wrong direction, or they are the universal signs that something is supposed to happen to us that we don't know. And again, if we follow all of the points that I've outlined in this episode, we would see that when we put it all together, and if we put it all together, we get ourselves so much more prepared for the good and the bad that it just gives us the power to be in control of the situation, not in the control like the one that you can't give up on, but to be focused, composed, and to make ourselves as effective and efficient in dealing with certain situations, especially the ones that are stressful, unforeseen, uncertain, and difficult for us to deal with. So I want to leave you today with this notice. People, everything will be all right. We all come across bad situations. We all come across scenarios, life scenarios that we don't want. We all come across things that we just find ourselves so stressed about. If you follow all of the steps that I've given you, if you take all of these hacks and tricks and incorporate it in your life, trust me, you'll be unshakable. You will be able to deal with anything and everything. And this is one of the key skills that any modern person today needs to have. And on this note, I would like to thank you so much for staying with me on this episode today, for listening to me. And I would like to ask for you to kindly like and subscribe if you found value in whatever we've discussed today. Also, I'd be very, very interested. I'd be very, very interested in listening and reading to your comments about how you found this episode. What are the insights that you might take away? What are the insights that you found useful for yourself? Please make sure to share your opinions. And again, life is a journey, but however hard life hits us, it is our choice to just cope with everything and fly. Okay? I love you, people. I will come back next week, probably from the same location as well, because we are stuck here for some time. But again, please subscribe to this episode and be unshakable. Thank you very much for listening. Bye for now.